What's up, YouTube? Today I want to talk about dollar cost averaging. With the Fed rate hike and the recent drop in spot price, a lot of people are trying to dollar cost average on their way down. But one of the unfortunate things about dollar cost averaging on the way down is your entire portfolio value goes down with it. That is until the actual thing you're dollar cost averaging, material, starts to increase. Then that's when the benefit of dollar cost averaging shows itself. So I wanted to talk about how I'm dollar cost averaging on the way down by hedging and selling things that go on the way up. Now, last week you saw that I've been selling some of my stack, and I've been doing by selling on consistent intervals. I was able to lock in some profits and drop my dollar cost averaging that way, and not just by buying at a lower price. So I would buy, for instance, this P1 for 42 at the time when it was still out there, and then sell it for 55. That's a net gain of 13 bucks for a 2 ounce. That's pretty much a free ounce for each one of these. Multiply that by a roll of 10, then you have 5 free ounces. You do that over and over and over, and it starts to add up. For instance, one of my best performers has been the Coins and Chronicles. It started off with Eisenhower and then steadily moved to the other coins, JFK and then Johnson. But Eisenhower did the best for me. I missed out on Truman, and that was when I first learned about the Coins and Chronicles set. And pretty much I did what anyone who saw what was happening was doing, and recruited all my friends and bought 18 sets of each one at each time. Then sold them for double or triple what I paid for it. Turned that around and bought again. In my previous videos, I had mentioned that I used the proceeds from one of my Coins and Chronicles purchases to buy a sheet of Pandas, 2014 Pandas, which I then, my net average cost for the sheet at the time, due to a distressed seller, was 20 bucks. And then I started selling these for 26 to 30 bucks, which is still a pretty good deal for those. Market rate's about 30. And then when you're selling them at 26, it's a deal for both. It works out for both parties. Doing this has allowed me to bring my average cost down so that even my premium stuff, like this 2 ounce lunar mouse, is at cost now, after all my sales and profits, is $15.19. Now that's a pretty big way from what I paid for it on retail, thanks to lots of little sales of these pirates and elephants. It does take a lot of work, but when you have some winners like the Eisenhowers or the pirates, the privateers, then it makes it pretty easy on how to do it. Or it makes it a lot smoother on increasing your stack while protecting your downside risk. So the whole goal is so that the stack eventually becomes cash flow positive, like these rolls of lunars. Most people will want to wait until it's like 20, 30 bucks, but if you think about it, only the mouse and ox are going for about 70. And if you bought it at the time, it's pretty low, but it took 8 years to get to where it's at. Now, 8 years is a long time. I'm not that patient. So when I bought this roll, it was on sale at BPM for $2.22, where the monkeys are now, and they broke them out and sold them individually for 15, 16 bucks. At that rate, the profit is about 30% per each one, minus fees, so let's say about 20%. 20% turnaround isn't too bad, and then you combine that with other ones, and it just snowballs into a larger profit. So the point being is you can dollar cost your average by accumulating weight and buying. When I say weight, I mean like ounces. you just keep buying heavier and heavier bars at lower prices, or you sell off some of the items that kind of got a premium, let someone else take on that risk to see if these are still going to keep appreciating. Because if you notice, the market on these have softened a little bit. These were going for 65. They're starting to soften up just a tad right now, but they're still pretty. And most likely after the Fed rate hike and noticing that you can get a lot more silver for each one per dollar. At this point, at the current rate, 65 bucks, you can get about 5 ounces of silver for this too. So it's almost a 2.5 to 1 ratio. But it is a very cool design, I'm not going to lie. If you found this useful, please comment, like, and subscribe.